Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I'm very, very excited about tonight's live. Joining me today are Ben from Books with Genghis Khan and Jake from Jake Bishop, using his own name because that's what he likes. And today what we're doing is something we've already done on Ben's channel, and Jake and I kind of did something similar-ish to Sarah, but without the gamification, which is these two lovely gentlemen have picked 3 books each for me to read. I don't know what they are. I'm going to be reacting to them in real time. And we're going to assign a point system to see who wins, basically. So if you didn't see Ben's one, which, by the way, Ben is about to start his last book of the 6. We were originally going to do this after he was
coming
done.
Down to the wire. So
he just, it's really down to the last book. Yeah. So it's been very, very interesting. And he's been I think he's been cheating just to, like, make sure that the game stays equal.
I think all the outcomes have been, like, pretty reasonably, like, nothing has been super unexpected. It's just been like a half-star sway in another direction.
I think basically everything has been slightly less good than we expected, except for Lions.
No, he likes Shards of Honor more
Shards
than
of Honor
I
was more than
too.
Yeah, okay, Shards of Honor a little bit more. So what we're going to be doing here is they get 1 point per star that I give a book to. So if I give a book 5 stars, they get 5 stars. Pretty basic there. There's the one author bonus point that is being included from Ben's version of this game, where if it's a new author to me, I've never read the author, they get 1 bonus point on top of the star rating. And we're adding a little bit more gamification to this because I want to reward people taking chances for knowing my taste personally. So the rules that we've added, and I don't know if either of these two gentlemen are brave enough to do this one, is if they pick a book that that they didn't like as much, and I like it more than them, they get an extra point. So they could even pick something that they gave 4 stars to, and if I give it 5 stars, they get an extra point. Or, you know, if they just really hated the book, but they're like, I think Kyle would really like this book, and they give it to me, and I give it even 3 stars. I only have to give them a full star rating higher than them, then they get an extra point for taking that chance. So,
all of that, can you get multiple bonus points? I should have asked.
Yes, you can. Okay. Yes, you can. So you could theoretically choose like an author that you really hated, Jake, or didn't like much, and give it to me. And then
rule.
Yeah, you could do Wizard's First Rule. I was trying to think of one, and then I give it 2 stars because you gave it 1, right?
Yeah.
And then if I give it 2 stars, you get the new bonus point for the author and for that, but you would only still get 4 stars.
Throne of Glass actually would have got me some, because I gave it 2, you gave it 3. New author would have been a reasonable pick.
Oh man,
yeah, would have been.
This new version of the competition makes one pick that I would be extremely bold to make a little bit appealing.
Wait, now am I morally obligated to lose? I just saw a random thing on Twitter. It was someone that was like from on a TV show, and it was like, if you get this right, we'll donate like $100,000 to like cancer research. And they were like, can you just donate the money anyways? Though I'm like,
it's complicated, but it makes sense to us. So if it ends up mattering, we'll explain it better. But it's all good. It's just meant to add different thoughts into how they pick their books. I have a couple picks right here that I think one of them is going to choose. And I just want to see if I was right. But before we start, I have a blue card and a pink card, because these are the cards I have. One of them is a heads or tails question, and one is a choose a number from 1 to 10. You guys get to choose how we determine who goes first.
As well.
It is convoluted.
Wait, but how do we choose who chooses the envelope?
Do you not think this?
No, you guys agree on it verbally. Like if you're gonna disagree, then I'm just gonna choose one. I don't know.
What do you want to do, Ben? I want to pick blue. A number, and I want to pick 7. That's what
I'm a fan of blue in general. So blue.
All right, blue. I like blue as well. I don't remember what blue was.
Blue is the heads and tails. Heads and tails. So one of you, I already have it written down, so I'll put it here to make sure that.
Do you want to call it, Ben, or do you want me to call it?
You guys don't see that
I want to know,
changed the answer.
Did you actually flip a coin, or did you just pick heads or tails?
I actually flipped a coin.
Ben, do you want? That means it doesn't.
Okay,
matter.
I'll go for it.
Okay.
Tails.
I was gonna say
so
tails.
Then your head shake. Okay.
Yeah.
Ben gets to go first. It was tails.
Okay.
Wait. I won, so I get to pick if I go first.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you're right. You're right. So that is what I meant. Yeah, you get to choose if you go first or second.
Oh, okay. This is good. Oh no, I don't know what I want to do. I thought it was good, but then it would have been better if Jake could choose, because now I'll regret.
If you want, you can let me choose still. You can choose. I'll take the one Jake doesn't want.
I will pick first.
Okay.
Oh, he
Okay.
really, it took him a long time to figure that out. All right.
Woo.
I'm excited. What do you got for me, Ben?
All right.
I'm just gonna pick what I bet his first guess is. I'm gonna put that on top. Okay. What's your first one?
Okay. I went first so I could come out of the gates with this pick and not be picked over by Jake, which is Leviathan Wakes by James S.A. Corey, book 1.
I knew he would do that.
I actually
All
totally
right.
forgot about this one, so
I didn't think Jake would pick this one, but okay. I'm excited.
Then
for
my
this.
whole picking first was useless.
I actually
okay, whatever.
thought you were about to block my first pick, and I was about to hold it up at the same time, and then you didn't block my first pick. So,
but when I was looking through your Goodreads, I was like, I couldn't believe you haven't started this series yet. And so we have a new author for you.
Is
combo,
James S.A. Corey
the dynamic duo?
Is James S.A. Corey a new author? I guess Ty Frank.
They're a
We did.
dynamic duo.
Okay.
We established it in
Oh, yeah,
Discord a
it
while
is.
ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
This entity that is greater than Daniel Abraham or Ty Frank on their own. This is a power duo. The one thing that I was worried about possibly was, have you watched the show?
I watched half of the first episode.
Oh, so you've not seen the first season? Okay. So that's good. I think you'll just have the book experience. I think these work well in print. The audio narrator is great for it. Perfect. So either format, I think you're going to have a good time. Most likely.
I'm glad that one of you guys picked this because I've been really meaning to start it. And I have the like special editions up there next to Dune. And I'm like, I shouldn't own these special editions and not have actually read the series. So this will give me the kick to actually start it.
Nice. And that's what this competition I think is great for. Like you both gave me the big kick to finally start Dandelion, my priority series for years. So here we go.
Quick, Mitch, Ben is not finished his yet. This is them picking books for me. This is a separate
thing. Tell you should we tell the people what's
but we can.
on?
I was just going to say, we can do an update for you guys because Ben's been just kicking that can down the road, just reading all sorts of other stuff. So Ben, why don't you quickly, we'll pause and you can update people on your scoreboard for yours.
All right. The scoreboard update is with one book remaining. Kyle has, how many points does he have? 15? Is it 15? I did the update in
I thought it was 15.
Yeah.
Alex's Discord.
I think I need 5 stars to tie.
Oh,
I need to take book of
he got
thing for you.
He got 4 stars and a bonus point for new author for Grace of Kings. And then we got 4 stars for The Last Kingdom, which I just finished. And not a new author, but solid read. I enjoyed the beginning of that series. And so that put him at 9. And then Lions of Al-Rasan, big solid, no doubter, 5 stars. Current favorite book of the competition, which gets that bonus point. So that has Kyle at 15 points. And Jake has 1 book to go.
Yeah, I better have a pretty good book considering it has to be 5 stars.
He's at 10 points with
good, folks. We good.
4.5 stars for Wall of Storms, 5.5 for Shards of Honor, 4.5 stars with the new author. So he's at 10. We have A Brightness Long Ago. It's the final book of the competition. If that book is 5 stars and Lions remains my favorite, we'll go to a tiebreaker book. But if Brightness overtakes and becomes my favorite book of the competition, then Jake will take it off.
So Mitch, I'm not really down or up. I think it's full coin flip territory.
It really is. And we both agree.
It's just like Brightness or Lions.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Jake, because you've talked to more people about Guy Gabriel K. Lions tends to be maybe the slight more favorite, but less people have read Brightness Long Ago.
I don't know that many people who've read Brightness and Lions, but I feel like on average people might. The thing is, when people don't like Lions, they like DNF it or give it 1 star. I don't know why. They're weird. When people DNF don't like Brightness, it's just like 3 stars. It's fine. I haven't seen anyone actively dislike Brightness. I've seen probably a similar amount of people love both. Anyway,
and you and I both like Brightness.
If there's one book I could trust to this, it'd be, I guess, Lord of Emperors. But the fact that I can't pick Lord of Emperors, if it's one book, I want it to be Brightness. So I'm okay with this. If there's, yeah. I think we're in coin flip territory.
Yeah, it's very close. It's awesome.
But I think I'm more likely to win outright than lose outright. But I think you have an advantage in the tiebreaker. So I think if Vegas had betting odds on this, it'd be pretty close to 50-50.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with all of your analysis, Jake. You're on the ball. What is your first pick for my choices, Jake? And I have one that I think.
So there are all these convoluted rules, so you can come up with like really like high EV plays. I didn't do any of that for the first one, except it is a new author to you. It's The Rage of Dragons.
See, I know you guys so well. I knew that was. I knew both of your first picks.
I wanted to pick first just because I wanted to be able to pick The Rage of Dragons. Is he gonna like it as much as me? Probably not. Do I just want him to read it? Yes. I just reread this on audio. This book is awesome. It goes so hard. I
pictured Evie doing this to that meme where the one guy's like, "I'm a 5-star man," but like her just yelling that.
Also, I'd just like to say I was going to pick, if you asked me 2 hours ago, what's your first pick going to be? I would have had a different answer. I was going to pick Fool's Fate, but I was vetoed.
Yes.
And this was disallowed.
It was
Fool's
disallowed.
Fate is better because it's better than like almost everything. This is actually this is in the like, you know, if there is a book I'd trust to be the 5 stars, this would be up there with Brightness.
The reason we vetoed Fool's Fate is because both of them have like a chance would have picked it first, and I had originally, before we did this, I'd already planned to finish Fool's Fate because I knew neither of them would choose Rain Wilds and I'd be safe. But I'm just lame and I haven't started Fool's Fate yet, and I didn't want that to be like.
I figure Rage of Dragons. I get the bonus point. It's a new author to Kyle. I think he'll probably give it 4 stars. This means that's the same as like a 5-star from an author he's read. So I actually think I'm doing pretty good there. You know, he could give it 3 stars. Then that's the same as like if it's an author he'd read and he gave it 4. And he could give it 5 stars, and then I get 6 points. So I think that's a pretty good pick.
Yeah, and these were the 2 that I was very sure you guys were going to pick. So after this, I have guesses, but they're more vague. So from here on out, it's kind of wild.
My next one, you didn't see it coming.
Okay, good. That's what I like. I want you guys to throw curveballs. So Ben, back to you. What's your next one?
Okay. I am going to not pick A Crown of Swords. That is not my pick.
That's smart because that would be a bad pick.
That would be you losing. Like, I don't know.
I'd be like, hey, should we pick a book from an author he's read, and it's a book that I really like, and it's a book he won't like?
No, I did not like. That's actually what my second least favorite, or well, third if we're counting the prequel. But I did not like Crown of Swords. That's one of my least favorite.
Yeah, well, you'll like it more than he'll like it.
Yeah, I wouldn't even get that bonus point anyway.
But you'd give it like 4.5 out of 10.
This is so rude.
I
can't believe you.
I am going to not pick The First Binding, even though you just would need to give it 2 stars to get me a bonus point.
Yeah, you get 2 bonus points. If you gave it 2 stars, that'd be the equivalent of 4. 3 stars would be 5.
Like, it's not that. It's a pretty safe pick. Although I wouldn't say that. There's a chance you would just 1 star like with me, like Skullsworn, and I would not risk that. I also don't want you reading that book if you don't want it. But
I appreciate you actually being a friend. So
I picked all books I think are good.
All right,
I knew you would, Jake. I knew you would. Ben is always in chaos trying to get me and Jake to read books that he thinks we'll dislike, so we could dislike them together.
Come on! It's so much better that you read Skullsworn and we could both
share that experience.
All right, what's your bloody pick?
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay, this is one of the books I read before BookTube, before my just utter SFF binge that took over my life. I read it in print. I thought it was really good. I know Kyle reads a lot of memoirs, and this is I've read a bunch of memoirs. It's probably my favorite one I read. It is The Tender Bar by J.R. Moehringer. The Tender
Wow, I don't even know what
Bar.
this is. Look at you.
I
You're
know
hitting
Okay,
deep
I'm-
cuts here.
I'm
My
glad you don't know
curveball
what it
isn't
is
that much of
because
a curveball.
I'm glad you don't know what it is because, like, I think Ben Affleck released the movie version somewhat recently. So if you'd watched the movie, I probably would have said cancel the pick. But the book, all right.
The Tender
book-
Bar.
Yep, The Tender Bar.
That's like a knuckleball. That's like that's not even a curveball. That's
So-
like
I read this
Okay.
back when I was in college, and I randomly picked it up, and I recommended it to someone else. They really liked it, so the recommendation has worked once before. I wasn't just like a me thing, and I think it's a lot of memoirs are written by celebrities, and they're maybe like not written really well, or their lives aren't necessarily that interesting to deserve a whole literary treatment. But like this guy was just a long form journalist for like newspapers like New York Times or LA Times and other newspapers, and he was like a writer, and he had an interesting life. And so it's not like a celebrity writing a memoir, but someone who really had an interesting kind of story to tell.
Yeah, I'm reading. I just read the synopsis, which is too long to read here. It's very long, but it does sound interesting. This is a very, very good pick. I will let you know though, like, because I've never really talked about my rating scale for memoirs. Like it's like, it's vibes like anything else, but I am harsher on memoirs. Like, I don't know if you know that.
I did not know.
It's
well,
it's
yeah.
well, I shouldn't say I'm harsher. It's more like I am more binary. I'm less likely to get into the weeds of like, oh, like Rage of Dragons had this positive thing going for it and this positive thing going for it. But I also noticed this, like, I'm more likely to just be like, wow, it like was
Hypothetical
really,
negative
really
thing you just said
interesting.
wasn't true. Bad criticism.
Yeah.
Read it better.
Just be like 5 stars, or I'll be like, oh, it was fine, 3 stars. So like it's way more just like passes the vibes check. So that could be a point in your favor or a point not. It just kind of depends.
One thing that makes me less sure of this is that I have not vetted the audiobook, and if you do it that way, I have no clue what's going on with the audio. I read it in print, had a great experience with it. So yeah, if
I'll look around.
I will feel
I'll
less.
see.
The Rage of Dragons audio is awesome.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna do
As
immersion
is
for Rage of Dragons.
as is Leviathan Wakes. Jefferson Maze is perfect.
All right, I'm pretty
All right.
happy with this next pick. I'm pretty proud of it. I accidentally big brained this because I'd forgotten about if you give it a higher star rating than me, it gets a bonus point.
Oh no!
And when I read it, this was a 9.05 stars, but in the great rating drop of January,
No.
2024,
This is
it
already.
swapped out. Hey, it is on the
No,
same
no.
scale that
This-
every other
this-
book is
no,
on.
no.
No, I agree.
This-
I agree.
I dropped this independent of the competition to 4
It has nothing to
stars
do with it. No, I'm on
everything
Jake's side.
else.
It was originally given 5.
Yeah, lots of books I originally gave 5 and
No,
dropped to
this is
4. Books that were I like more than this
Invalid.
considerably. This is so
Invalid.
valid. Like you have no case here. Anyway,
Kyle will
it's
be
also
the adjudicator in the end.
the adjudicator will win in my favor. I'm completely confident. This is all over the board. I also picked not a fantasy book, allegedly. It's one of those where I joke that it is a fantasy book. It is. I Know This Much Is True by Wally Lamb.
I thought you might
Ooh.
pick this. Yeah, okay.
Ooh.
I think
Ooh,
Kyle
lipstick.
will really like this. I think it's very good. I did screw you over a little bit because it's very long. But you know what? You'll read Rage of Dragons in like a day. And so you'll be fine.
That is a chunker.
All right,
I have
awesome.
read She's Come Undone, and in my litfic days, like high school, college, thought that was very good. So I think you're probably on something with this pick. I have read a lot of litfic in my time, and I have zero feel for like how Kyle
This just
rates litfic and like his
this
experience
passed the
with it. So
vibe check, you know?
yeah,
I pictured in my mind, I imagined Kyle dunking on all the books I considered picking. And
This is a
him dunking on this.
900-page book.
Yeah, I actually
This is
just
a
remembered how long
900-page
it is
book.
as I was holding it up. And I was like, ooh, that's I'm sorry. I'd forgotten it was that
Wow.
long until like 30
Didn't you
seconds
make
ago.
like a rule for yours that you were like no long books, and we were like bet? Okay, I'm
Hey,
okay
we
with
picked
long books.
Wall of Storm. I picked Wall of Storms for Ben. That's probably about just as long.
Yeah.
I forgot. Also, this is like one of my mom's favorite books. So,
Yeah,
and
I will
also
say,
when my mom,
I have
she didn't
watched
know
the
what her favorite book
miniseries.
was. Yeah. Oh, she didn't know what her favorite book was, and 2 of the contenders was this and The Kite Runner, and now she reread The Kite Runner, and I was like, I've read 2 of your favorites. I definitely like I Know This Much Is True more. And she's like, yeah, I read Kite Runner. I Know This Much Is True is better. And I'm like, yeah, it's better. Anyway.
Well,
I remember when you read this, you really liked it.
It's
like
excellent,
you gave it 5 stars. You really liked it. If you're dropping it to like whatever 8.8, that's essentially 5 stars. This is ridiculous.
No. It's absolutely not.
Totally
he changed his ratings. It's a 4-star on Goodreads.
I changed my ratings of
totally
like
valid.
50 books. So this was not like I found a statistical irregularity where I'd given like 40 books 9.2 out of 10 and like 4 8.9 out of 10. So the entire low 9 range dropped into the high 8 range, and this got caught up in that.
You gave it on purpose. 5 stars.
Just worked out.
You gave it 5 stars on your gut check reaction.
It's actually, funnily enough, on my little book ranking list, this was the lowest book I had at 5 stars. 1 book below it was 4 stars originally when I gave it 5 stars. So this is literally the least illegitimate I could have been using this. The rating.
I'll allow it. I think he's dealing with it in the spirit of it because he's choosing it because he thinks I like it. Which is why I did it.
If I'd heard that rule and then looked at my ratings and been like, "Oh, my ratings are weird. I should drop them," that would be illegitimate. But this was a completely separate occasion.
So we'll recap the picks real quick because Mitch is making.
But actually, I have decided that I'm redoing my rating system, and everything is now a 1 star. Just letting you all know this.
So Jake picked Rage of Dragons, and I Know This Much Is True, which is a lit fic book by Wally Lamb, and Ben so far has picked This Tender Bar, who I forget the author name. Ben.
The Tender Bar by J.R.
The Tender Bar. Moeringer, and then he also chose Leviathan Wakes. So we were on the last picks here. Oh, he did put it in here. Okay, sounds good. All right, so Ben, your last pick. And then after that, we will do a tiebreaker just in case. And then you guys can tell me what your other bench picks were.
Oh, all right. Oh man. Okay, tiebreaker pick. So I am not going with one that I'm like, I didn't love, but maybe Kyle's gonna love it. This has been vetted by me multiple times. I love it so much. And the audio is one of the best I've ever heard. Just reread it. We have The Magicians by Lev Grossman.
This crossed my mind as a book that you would choose recently, and I just totally forgot about it. But I do own this book, and I did want to try it. So this is a good pick. Awesome.
Oh, good. I read it right at the start of my whole fantasy journey, like 5 years ago. Just did it a reread because Zamar picked it up at my recommendation, and he loved it, and I had a great time with it again. It's intense as a first book. A lot happens in it. It's intense. It stands alone very well. So it's not one of those like book ones where you're just getting the first start of the story. Also, Leviathan Wakes is like that too. It's like a really good standalone story. So I went with book ones that I felt pretty good about as their own full books. Mark Bramhall, one of my favorite narrators. Very quirky, really great with emotional nuances. Love the audio narration. And Grossman's a new author too for you, right? So
yes.
We got bonus point there. So worst comes to worst, I think. Well, actually, I've seen people just really bounce off this. So
yeah, I was gonna say this book is
this is a bit of a risk. So yeah, it's one of my favorites though.
Jake hasn't read it, right? You haven't read it. But you really like it, Ben, and then also Pranav, who is a guy on Discord that I usually agree with. He also loves it. So there's a pretty good chance I'm gonna like it. But I have heard Jake, you're muted.
Oh, sorry. That's just because Pranav copies everything I say, though. That's why you two agree.
That's true. Yeah.
Like, for the stuff he's read that I haven't read, there's no precedent for that.
The new release by Grossman after like 10 years since finishing the Magician's trilogy is The Bright Sword, a new King Arthur series.
By the way, Dylan, if you're watching this, I was lying when I said I joined your read along. You were asking people, and I remembered when you said you joined the Dandelion read along. So I just said I would, never with the intention of doing it. Get wrecked. I will read it. However, whenever you read that, someone might tell him. Whenever Dylan reads the Dandelion Dynasty, I will take that day, and that's finishes Speaking Bones, and I will subtract the amount of days between that and when he would have finished Speaking Bones if he participated in the read along, and I will read that book that many days after his read along was supposed to end.
Fair enough.
Unrelated.
I'm glad the pettiness is alive and well in you.
Pettiness is very alive.
A lot of people do actually bounce off it, but I deeply connect to it and the POV character. And so if it doesn't work, I'm willing to go down with this ship because this is a real Ben pick that I am very invested in this series. And this book 1 in particular is my favorite of the series.
I'm anticipating like a 3.5 4-star, but because it's a new author point or a new author bonus, you might be fine with that. Jake, what's your last pick?
This was hard. This was hard. I considered 4 books for this, and I ended up actually just deciding not based on, I didn't know which was the best on which you would like the most. I was just like, which one do I want Kyle to read the most? And I picked this not because I almost just went with the book I like the most for them, but I have this because it's the one I want to talk to you about the most, and I want you to read the entire series for. So my third pick is Too Like the Lightning by Ada Palmer, which is also a somewhat risky pick because it is Too Like the Lightning. And there are very much lots of reasons. Like, this could be the slam dunk. It could be the new author, 5 stars, easy peasy, favorite book of the thing. Or it could be like, Jake, why did you recommend me this stupid ass book? This Mycroft guy's so annoying. Why doesn't he shut up? 1 star. But hey,
no,
1 star will count as 2.
It's a lot of symmetry with my pick. Like, he might bounce off the Quentin Coldwater and think Quentin's annoying. I'm taking the risk as well.
So
we both went a little bit.
I cannot believe that you guys picked 6 books for me, and I have not read a single one of these authors. I'm actually blown away.
It was actually funny when I narrowed them down because so obviously the ones from authors that I considered is I was like, next Black Company book, and then I was like, Curse of the Challeon. I very much almost picked. I heard Curse of the Challeon was like the safest pick ever. It's
Curse of the Challeon is one of the ones I have here.
You give it 4 or 5 stars. Like, it would be an 8 or a 9 out of 10. Like, that's the range.
That's the thing. That was like what Kyle did with The Last Kingdom. That was an extremely safe pick. I would have bet my entire existence on it getting 4 stars or higher. And so that was just like a safe pick, but he wasn't going to get the new author bonus point. He didn't get the new author bonus point. Like, it was a safe pick.
Barrier.
Yeah.
I like Curse of the Challeon slightly more, though, and I think Curse of the Challeon.
I also just wanted you to start that series, so that's kind of the other motivator there.
Anyway, right, I just went, I want you to start Terra Ignota. 7 Surrenders is one of my books of the year. Well, Mitch, that's just because the people we are getting to read Terra Ignota are the pretentious people in Jimmy's Discord. In the general public, it's still...
Isn't this series supposed to appeal to the pretentious crowd?
Yeah, that's why everyone. That's like he's like everyone likes it because he just only gets people to because only pretentious people have read it. So
now,
but Zan did not enjoy, or did he give it the 3 stars?
Well, he just gave it the Zan 3 stars treatment. So I've now given him like. Well, it's not the most pretentious book that I really like, but one of the most pretentious books that I really like. And I think the least pretentious book that I really like. I think this is the least pretentious book that I really like.
Yeah.
And I gave both to you. So
interesting. I do have struggles with pretentious books, but everything people tell me about Terra Ignota sounds really good. And I went through all of my, so I have all these books here and I have some books upstairs and I have 4 bins of books of side stuff. I'm like, stuff I'm not going to read for a long time, or the copies that are ugly, or whatever. And I thought I had Too Like the Lightning somewhere. I'm like, I want to put that on the shelf. And I have perhaps the stars in hardcover because I found it for $1. I was like, I can't say no to that.
Rob that from you.
Yeah. Well, if I don't like the series, you can have it. And
now I win either way.
Yeah. Actually, for real, if I somehow bounce off the series, I'll just bring the hardcover to Dragonsteel for you. But so I have that in the bin. So I was like, maybe I was just dumb and I put it in the bin and it wasn't there. So I have no idea where my copy of Too Like the Lightning went. So I might have to just audio it. But I don't want audio.
It's a bad series to audio. There's actually there's so much stuff it might be like it or The Spear Cuts Through Water would be like the 2 worst books. It's probably the worst book to audio that I've ever read, if I'm being completely honest.
Okay.
There's so much format stuff that Ada Palmer does that's really weird. Even if it had a really good narrator, I have no idea who the narrator is. I'd still be like, that just doesn't work though, right?
Maybe I'll just do immersion because I have the audiobook, so maybe I'll just
especially since as a random example, sometimes someone will just be speaking in like Latin, and Mycroft will be like, I'm definitely like insist on writing the Latin, and then there'll also be a translation. Obviously, you don't have to read it in Latin, but that means like if you have to do audio, you're just gonna have to sit there and listening to like some dude speaking in Latin for like a paragraph.
That's
which
actually
sounds
my least favorite part of Sun Eater is how like Rockio is obsessed, just absolutely obsessed with saying all the Cielson words and then translating them immediately. So I just have to hear Samuel Rook and be like, Ukvar, it's Afakar. And then we get the translation anyway. And I'm like, couldn't we just only have the translation? Like, isn't that enough? Like,
No, I
Rosa
love hearing the
Tolkien mega
Cielson.
fan. He wants to make the language. Leave him alone.
No, the Cielson sounds so cool.
So the funny thing is,
they do not.
Mycroft just translates every other language, but Latin, he's like, too bad. I'm refusing.
All right, let's do tiebreaker picks real quick because this could go wild. So we actually might need tiebreakers.
So one thing I was possibly throwing out there as a possible tiebreaker is a Malazan off, because Jake likes Midnight Tides more than Bone Hunters, and I like Bone Hunters more than Midnight Tides. And you're going to be reading those anyway.
They're too long.
Those are
like
very
they're gonna
long.
be like tiebreakers. He has to read 2 Malazan books back to back.
Yeah.
No, you'd be reading those anyway.
But I'm reading them slowly over time.
I am able to disassociate my preferences with the average preference of people, and I know that on average, people like Bone Hunters more, and that is not a winning bet for me.
So my proposal is shut down. Okay,
yes, rejected. You're free to pick a Malazan book, though.
I am not the biggest. I like Midnight Tides, but it's not one of my favorite Malazans. I wouldn't pick that one. Ooh, tiebreaker. Okay, I was not actually prepared for this. I thought we were not doing tiebreakers.
Oh, I mentioned a long time ago we were doing it, but
I got a lot of possibilities. I don't think I'm gonna go with Children of Ruin because you didn't 5-star Children of Time, right? No,
I did not.
No, that would I don't think people are gonna like that usually more than Children of Time. Okay, I'm not gonna do this one, but I loved it. Tune In, the Beatles, all these years. It's like 1,000-page, like a nonfiction biography of the Beatles, like early years through their like
a
first
really good
album.
way of getting a 2-star tiebreaker for sure. 1,000-page biography of a band that I don't like that much.
It's so good.
Yeah, pick that. Can you pick that one, Ben?
It's so good. So some litfic ones that I don't think I'm going to go with. I just don't know how you vibe with litfic, but things like The Art of Fielding. It's a contemporary college novel.
I've seen the cover of that one. Places, yeah.
Snow by Orhan Pamuk, really good. By Turkish author. Captain Corelli's Mandolin, set in Greece. That's cool one, but I don't think I'm going to go with these litfic ones. Okay. One of the fan.
You want me to just do mine?
Maybe.
It's not going to be a book you're going to pick.
Yeah, I don't think you guys are thinking
go
of
for
the
it.
same head.
Okay.
Go for it.
I considered, I guess, 4 books for this tiebreaker. Curse of the Challeon, as mentioned, also Barrier. The other one I considered that I didn't pick was Dreams of the Dying.
Barrier right here.
But the one I'm going with...
I'm just going to point out I've read Dreams of the Dying, and you commented on...
Oh, yeah, you did.
Like,
anyways, so it's good that I didn't pick that. I ended up just going with the one I was considering that I personally like the most and is a new author to you, which is The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness.
Good choice.
This is technically a YA book, and this is one where like the vibe check is like, if you imagine in my mind the world where Kyle hates it, I can imagine that world, which makes it a bit of a scary pick. Like I can picture like what I could be like, oh, stupid like protagonist and like the stupid, I forget the antagonist name, but like
you can't pick this book for Ben because it's YA, so he'd actually burst in flames.
It's actually YA, but it's really good. I actually almost picked this instead of Too Like the Lightning. The tiebreaker was literally just that like I don't really care about your reactions to the 2 books after it in the series, and I also really want you to read Terra Ignota. But tiebreaker, I am going to trust past me and just that it rules. And also, it's nice for me to give you a very fast-paced book, so you can't yell at me too much, because this and Rage of Dragons read very, very quickly to make up for Too Like the Lightning. And
yeah, this is the other book I thought you were going to choose.
Ooh,
yeah, it's too spooky picking Book of the New Sun.
Too spooky.
Yeah, it's just like too much of like this Severian stupid. This thing is, so this was. Also, I'm just like, Terra Ignota is the new shiny thing. But also, I think I probably like Terra Ignota. Do I like it more? It's close. but they actually probably are reasonable because it's not that often that you read something where I'm like, this is genius, but stylistically like challenging, and then you don't like it. But whatever. I went with The Knife of Never Letting Go to not
I think
make
that's a
you
good pick.
read To Like the Lightning and Shadow of the Torturer back to back. So
Sounds
I'd
good.
like to say you're welcome, Kyle's brain.
Nothing will ever be harder than reading Harrow the Ninth and Gardens of the Moon at the same time. Nothing's beating that.
I haven't read
hell on
Harrow the
earth.
Ninth, so in fairness, that might be true. But I also think Shadow of the Torturer is denser and more obtuse than Gardens of the Moon.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, probably.
It's like I think some people think I've seen comment that To Like the Lightning is more challenging than is really challenging. I actually found it not like a step down in level of challenge from like Book of the New Sun and maybe Mawazin as well. Anyway, Ben,
what did you pick?
I have my tiebreaker. It's gonna be the prose version of White Sand. Not no, that is not my tiebreaker.
In the words of Shad, just choose a book.
Actually, you're gonna have to say if you've read this or not. I don't think I checked this one for you. One of my favorite books, The Killer Angels by Michael Shara.
I don't know.
No?
Is this the book you made Jimmy read?
Oh, he read that without my input.
Oh, okay. I thought okay. So I've heard Jimmy talk about it, but I don't know much.
Civil War historical fiction.
Yes.
Around the Battle of Gettysburg.
Okay.
And
great. 8 authors I've never read. That's crazy.
We kind of went off. You could have had Fool's Fate on here, but you vetoed it. You were like, I don't want to just have all people I've read before. Let's veto Fool's Fate. And I'm like, all right, bet.
So I was thinking about going with Gate of the Feral Gods. That's your next one in DCC. But you're going to be redoing it anyway. Also, I tend to like that one more than everyone else. So not a slam dunk 5-star one for their first 5-star DCC. People often give the first 5 stars to book 5 in that series. But other ones I was considering, some nonfiction. 2 of my favorites that I've read, The Boys in the Boat, about
heard that's really good.
University of Washington crew team that won the Olympic gold medal in Berlin. That's a really great book. Awesome when you want just like a great nonfiction read. And Unbroken, also from that era. Unbroken. Oh, you've read it. Okay. Did you like that one? Do you like it?
Oh yeah, it was really good. Yeah, loved Unbroken.
Oh yeah. Okay. The other one I was very considering for possibly even for one of my 3 picks, but it's so divisive. I just don't have a good feel for who's going to like it, which is Night of Knives by Ian C. Esselmont, book 1 of his
I've read it.
novels, The Muslim Empire. Oh, you've read that one. I didn't know you've read that. Did you like it? What did you do with that one?
So it's okay. I read it in December.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay.
It was fine. Yeah, I wanted to continue on with Malazan, but I was burnt out from the main series a little bit because of all the discourse around it. So I was like, I know you can slot in Night of Knives anywhere, and it was short. So I just quickly listened to the audiobook. It was okay. It would not have been a good choice for this cover. I got to give it 3 stars. So.
Good thing. I am such an outlier than loving that book.
I'm just quickly going to check what score you gave Dreams of the Dying. Oh, that would have been a good pick. You gave it 5 stars on Goodreads. It would have been new author. And I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads. That would have been 6 points if I'd been able to pick that.
Ooh.
That would have been 7 points
if I'd been able to pick that.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Forgot you'd read it. Oops.
Yeah.
So it's the only possible... Yeah. Oh, yeah, we can recap. I was just curious about, is the only possible bonus point for difference in ratings Jake's one invalid situation? I gave 5 stars to everything. I gave 5 stars to all of my picks.
I give 4 stars to 2 of them. I give 4 stars to... I'm out of 5-star books to books I give 5 stars to recommend. He's read them all. Normally I'd pick a GGK book or something. I give To Like the Lightning an 8.5.
So it could get 5 stars. I feel like it won't get 5 though.
The thing is, I give 7 Surrenders 9.5 out of 10. Really, the reason I picked To Like the Lightning is I just I want him to read the series. I also do really think To Like the Lightning is a very good book. And then I gave Knife of Never Letting Go 5 stars and Rage of Dragons 5 stars.
So
I forgot this was a rule before he said it. I wasn't even considering it.
Kind of the same reason Kyle picked Grace of Kings that you picked. You
Yeah.
picked that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ben's picks are Leviathan Wakes by James S.A. Corey, The Tender Bar by some guy. Say the name, Ben.
J.R. Motringer.
J.R. Motringer. And his third pick is The Magicians by Lev Grossman, with a potential tiebreaker being I forgot what was your tiebreaker. The Killer Angels.
Angels.
See, you said like 15 books in a row, and then you're like, and I choose this one. I'm like, how am I supposed to remember that one? The Killer Angels. And then Jake chose Rage of Dragons.
Fantasy John Wick.
Two Like the Lightning. And I Know This Much Is True by Wally Lamb. And then his tiebreaker is
The Knife of Never Letting Go.
The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick
Fun fact,
Ness.
the reason I read this is because I did a TBR swap with Faber, and I got him to read the Sarantine Mosaic.
I remember that. That was a win-win for you.
Yeah.
We can
This
pick your
one is also
TBR, Evie.
I already
On the
got you
slimmer
Realm
side
of the
and
Elderlings
pessimist.
and Brightness, Evie. I've already done that. I just did it subtly. And
Sorry,
Black
what were you
Company.
saying, Ben?
Oh no, this is also like Jake went for a faster paced, like shorter book.
Oh,
for
that's
the
way
tiebreaker,
shorter
so
than I expected.
I did the
Yeah.
same. This is like 350 pages in paperback, and it's around the battles are pretty fast paced.
That's
Not
awesome.
too
Also-
I
big
just
there.
heard historical fiction for Civil War, and I expected like 900 pages.
Yeah.
Also,
yeah,
just
yeah.
for the people who think I'm not taking risks, I would just like to say this is what one of the pages of Knife of Never Letting Go looks like. So have fun. And then let's find
We
the-
might not
there's-
even need the tiebreaker.
There's some funky pages in Two Like the Lightning as well, which also I guess Knife of Never Letting Go would be really weird on audio. This is central premise, literally page 1, not spoilers, but they live somewhere where like everyone can hear everyone's thoughts, like the
Well,
first thoughts that comes to mind.
I guess I can't pull them out, but I have the whole trilogy right there. So
And then Two Like the Lightning has a table on it, so that's interesting. So that's like I don't know how that would work on audio. Does Bro read out like all the numbers on the table, especially since before that table?
I bet he does.
Mycroft is like, don't worry about the numbers that much, and then the audiobook narrator is like, which by him is just like, here are all the numbers. I don't know how that book on audio would work.
Yeah, I probably do physical. But all right, guys, I'm very excited for these picks. Full disclosure, I mean, Ben took 150 years to do his 6 books. Who knows if we'll ever finish them? So I'm not under any time pressure, but generally speaking, it shouldn't take me that long to do these, except July. I've been transitioning to a new job, which has made me more tired than normal. So I have to finish all the books that I started in the anticipation of finishing in July. But once I finish those, I will make my way into these 6 books, and we will see how we do. I might do like a quick halfway score thing, and then we'll do when I've done 3 of them, we'll come on and do that. It's probably something like that. But other than that, is there anything else you guys want to say about
At some
the
point
picks,
we'll
or-
do that, and you guys can flip a coin to pick the Warlord Chronicles book 1 for whoever gets to pick first.
I have so many picks for you, so it doesn't matter. And then whoever picks first gets to pick Enemy of God second. So
And then the person who picks, I
Yeah.
forget the name of book 3. You guys just pick
Excalibur.
the entire Warlord Chronicles, and they're just like, I'm just like, all right.
it will for sure be done by the end of the year, Evie. Like I would like to be done in September. Like whether or not I will be is ambitious, but 3 of the books are like reasonably
I
short
should've-
/ fast paced. So
With how long this is going to take you, I should have gone Tiebreaker, Wind and Truth, except you expressly banned it. So I should have gone Tiebreaker, Winds of Winter. It'll totally be out by then. Copium. You didn't expressly ban Winds of Winter if it was
I
out,
didn't
so-
ban Winds of Winter. That would be a hack to end all hacks.
That would be
Or could
hilarious.
you imagine if we had just like pushed this back a little bit because we were waiting for Ben to finish, and then Worldcon happened, and then George announced Winds of Winter, and then because I had banned it, one of you was just like Winds of Winter.
It wouldn't get the new author bonus, but it would be the most guaranteed
It would
5
for
stars
sure
to ever guarantee 5
5
stars.
stars and favorite book, like right
Yeah,
out of the gate.
yeah, it'd be like,
7
yeah,
points.
it's getting 6 points, like 100%.
Yeah.
But
All
if
right, guys,
I
we're
read
gonna-
it before you finished it, which is unlikely, I could have given it less stars.
Yeah, I can read it and be like, actually, George lost his touch 1 star. But then Kyle would become so angry with me that he wouldn't talk to me, so I'd never get to enjoy my victory.
Why am I friends?
I
with
don't
you
think
guys?
there's a chance that I will finish, even if I start at the same time. I think Kyle's finishing Winds of Winter before me.
When Winds of Winter comes out, I've told my wife, I've told my work, I've told everybody. I'm like, I'm I'm not dealing with any of you. Like,
Yeah,
I'm reading this book.
It's gonna be like me for like Oathbringer of Rhythm of War, where like I booked the days off work. For Rhythm of War, I got ahead on schoolwork because I knew I was just gonna read it for like all the time when it came out. You're not leaving. You're like just.
I honestly,
are you one
honestly
sitting in that? It's 400,000 words.
I mean, I'm planning on getting like I work in a hotel, so I can get a hotel room like dirt cheap. So I honestly might just get a hotel at my work, depending on. I mean, who knows if I still work there? This could be 8 years from now, for all we know. But assuming it's in like the next year or two, just get a hotel from work and just order some pizza and just read the damn book. Just. But what I did with Dance of Dragons is as I read it straight through, like I read all the way, like just started it at 8 a.m. when I went to go get the book. And I just read it straight through, and I think I finished it at like 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. or something like that.
Wow! You read it in one go? You read that book in one go?
Literally just sat down and read it, and then I went to bed.
Oh my god!
And then the next day started it over and read it slower.
Oh my god! That is one of the most epic book-related things I've ever heard.
I'm washed, as Jake would say. I wouldn't be able to do that now.
I tried to do that for Oathbringer, but I couldn't.
So Evie, here's a little fun fact for you that most people don't know because they don't need to, which is that in Canada, like nightclubs and bars and stuff, they have to be attached to nightclubs have to be attached to hotels in my province, and I work at a nightclub / bar. So it's also a hotel. I don't know why that's a rule, but it is a rule.
By the way, a lot of the memoir, The Tender Bar, takes place within a neighborhood bar establishment.
I saw that. That'll be interesting.
A little bit of personal synergy there going on.
I think my best pick is, I know this much is true, I just picked Rage of Dragons first. Ben, if I didn't pick Rage of Dragons, were you going to pick Rage of Dragons?
I was not. I assumed he had read it. I should have checked. That one.
I thought you were going to pick it first. That's why I just wanted to pick first to get Rage of Dragons.
That was not on my radar mistakenly. It would have been. I just thought he read it. So that was my bad for not checking in on that one. But that's a pretty obvious pick. So
yeah, I was literally, that's the only reason I wanted to pick first. I was about to hold it up as you picked.
Would you have considered Leviathan Wakes? That's why I
if I thought about it, especially because I gave it 4 stars. So it would have, if he gets a 5, it'd be the bonus point.
That's so funny that neither of us was considering the other thing that we were worried about the other person choosing.
It's because I just don't like book. I liked book 1 of The Expanse. I was like solid. I just like.
Did you read it like a year and a half ago? Like you have
I read it a long time ago, and then I was like, I'm gonna read book 2 soon, and then I never did. I will though. I will. But I just am a lot more like read it. I don't really care about the extra point. I want him to read books I like, so I can be like, yeah, that book's awesome.
Rage of Dragons is one of your big gems. So that
it's the one that keeps me in. I still get my Action Junkie card is just because of how much I like Rage of Dragons. So
well, that's we are in lockstep on that one. I'm going to be happy if he reads it and loves it too. So
where we fight, the world burns, Kyle. Where we fight.
This is a 500-page book. I thought it was longer.
Bro, you're gonna read if you do it. I mean, audio. I normally do audiobooks in the background of work over a month almost. I was I started it on a Friday, and getting it to Monday, I was kind of excited to go to work because I'm gonna get to listen to Rage of Dragons all day.
Oniemi is that good.
It is crack. Okay.
Oniemi is one of the masters of the art form. Yeah, he's amazing.
Now, some people aren't as addicted, but I am so addicted to Rage of Dragons. If Rage of Dragons was a substance, I would have a problem.
This is did you do
audio?
Outlier. I was just gonna say this is such an outlier in Jake's general books that he loves. It's just so. This is the equivalent of him. I love a bunch of stuff, and then I'm just I just love Fast and the Furious. And people are like, really? And I'm like, dude, those movies are ridiculous in all the best ways.
I've got a movie like it as well because I love Edge of Tomorrow. I love that.
Edge of Tomorrow is great. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, Rage of Dragons is great. They actually have kind of a similar appeal in some way. I'll get back to this whenever. But I like Fires of Vengeance 90. I think Fires of Vengeance is better, but I slightly like Rage of Dragons more.
Yeah, I'm with you. I
Interesting.
have identical experiences with this series. Did
Like,
you
I
end
think
up
it's more
finishing the
about,
audio?
like in every like character, theme, world building. Yeah, Edge of Tomorrow is so good. I feel like Rage of Dragons has kind of a similar appeal. Do you agree, Ben? Like it's kind of got like
yes. Agree.
It's the watching the dude become bad. It's more fantasy, not like the mechanistically it's incredibly different, but vibe wise, it's more the fantasy Edge of Tomorrow than it is the fantasy
Evie,
John
this is
Wick.
absolutely not true. The Last Samurai exists, and not
Great
only
movie.
does The Last Samurai exist, so does Top Gun Maverick, which is not great because of Tom Cruise, but nevertheless Tom Cruise is in it, which also brings us to The Outsiders, in which is a fantastic movie that Tom Cruise has like 4 lines in, but that's, it's a Tom Cruise
Risky
movie.
Business, also a solid Tom Cruise movie.
Anyway, Edge of Tomorrow is awesome. So is Rage of
Jerry
Dragons.
Maguire. Jerry
very
Maguire.
similar
I
reasons.
like that one too.
We're just gonna go off on tangents about Tom Cruise movies.
Anyway,
all right,
I want to make myself dinner. So
yeah, we're gonna end here, guys. This is awesome. I'm really looking forward to these books, and thanks for the chat for coming out and dealing with all of our Tom Cruise randomings. See you guys later.